Hello everyone, good day. My name is Kimberly Gimala, and I'm going to tackle the first part of our report, Climate and Biodiversity. So first, let's define the word climate. So when we say climate, it refers to the general pattern of atmospheric conditions in a given area over periods ranging from at least 3 decades to thousands of years. So climate differs from weather because weather often fluctuates daily from one season to another. On the other hand, climate tends to change slowly because it is the average of weather condition and their fluctuations in a given area over at least 30 years. So this is the generalized map on Earth's current climate zones. So as what we can see, the Philippines is color green, which indicates that we have a tropical climate. What factors influence climate? So climate varies in different regions of the Earth primarily because of the patterns of global air circulation and ocean currents distribute heat and precipitation unevenly between the tropics and other parts of the world over long periods of time. Three major factors that affect the circulation of air in the lower atmosphere. So first is what we call the uneven heating of the Earth's surface by the sun. When the Earth rotates around the sun, the equator gets more direct sunlight than the poles. Since the center of the Earth gets more sunlight, it is consistently hotter than other parts of the world. Next is rotation of the Earth on its axis. So as the Earth rotates around its axis, the equator speeds faster than in north and south regions. The air masses moving to the north or south are deflected to the east because they are moving easterly, which is the direction of the Earth's rotation. So lastly, properties of air, water, and land. The extreme heat from the sun evaporates ocean water and transfers heat from the oceans to the atmosphere, especially near the hot equator. Convection. Convection refers to the heat transfer through density differences, which also happens during the energy transfer in the atmosphere. So this is the process by which warm, wet air rises, then cools and releases heat and moisture as precipitation. So denser water sinks while less dense water rises. The oceans and the atmosphere are strongly linked in two ways. Ocean currents are affected by the winds in the atmosphere, and heat from the oceans affect atmospheric circulation. So let's move on to greenhouse gases warm the lower atmosphere. Greenhouse gases play a role in determining the lower atmosphere's average temperature and thus the Earth's climate. Greenhouse effect refers to the natural warming of the lower atmosphere and the Earth's surface. The major greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. Molecules of these certain gases in the atmosphere absorb some of this solar energy and release a portion of it as infrared radiation that warms the Earth's surface. So, humans are increasingly influencing the climate and Earth's temperature by burning fossil fuels, clearing a forest, and farming livestock and other human activities. This is an image of rain shadow effect. Rain shadow effect refers to the reduction of rainfall and loss of moisture from the landscape on the leeward side of the mountain. So, as the air rises over the mountain, water is precipitated and the air loses its moisture content. A desert is formed in the lee side shadow of the range. Mountains interrupt the flow of prevailing surface winds and the movement of storms. Cities with bricks, asphalt, and building materials create distinct microclimates. So when we say microclimate, it refers to the climate of a very small area. So this explains why cities tend to have higher temperatures and lower wind speeds than the countryside. What are the world's major terrestrial ecosystems and how are human activities affecting them? Average annual precipitation and temperatures, along with global air circulation patterns and ocean currents, led to the formation of tropical, temperate, and polar deserts, grasslands, and forests. Scientists have divided the world into several major biomes. Biomes refers to the large regions, each characterized by types of climate and dominant plant life. Biomes are not uniform. They are covered with one general type of vegetation. So the photo presents variety of terrestrial biomes and aquatic systems. So these are the examples of biomes. The three major types of desert. Desert are places with low annual precipitation. The sun warms the ground during the day and evaporates water from the plant leaves and from the soil. But at nighttime, majority of the heat stored in the ground radiates quickly into the atmosphere. So the first type of desert is tropical desert. These are hot and dry most of the year. They have few plants and hard, wind-blown surface strewn with rocks and sand. Examples of tropical deserts are Sahara and the Namib of Africa. The second type is temperate deserts. It have high daytime temperatures in summer and low in winter. So this type of desert have more precipitation than in tropical deserts. Cold desert have sparse vegetation, cold winters, warm summers, and low precipitation. Example of cold desert is Gobi Desert in Mongolia. In addition, desert soils take from decades to centuries to recover from disturbances such as off-road vehicle travel. The lack of vegetation, especially in tropical and polar deserts, also make them vulnerable to heavy wind erosion from sandstorms. The three major types of grasslands. Grassland occur mostly in the interiors of continents in areas that are too moist for deserts to form and too dry for forests to grow. Tropical grassland. It contains widely scattered clumps of trees and usually has warm temperatures year-round with alternating wet and dry seasons. The example of tropical grassland is savanna. Temperate grassland. Winters can be very cold, summers are hot and dry. The annual precipitation is fairly sparse and falls unevenly throughout the year. Many temperate grasslands are converted to farmlands because of the fertile soil it contains. Examples are shortgrass and tall grass prairies. Cold grassland is also called as Arctic tundra. It lies south of the Arctic polar ice cap. Treeless plains are bitterly cold. Forest refers to lands that are dominated by trees. Tropical rainforests. These are mostly found near the equator with warm and wet climate. It is often dominated by broadleaf evergreen plants that keep most of their leaves year-round. Tropical rainforests have a very high net primary productivity. Temperate forests. Temperate deciduous forests typically see warm summers, cold winters, and abundant precipitation. It has cooler temperatures and fewer decomposers than tropical forests. It is often dominated by few species of broadleaf deciduous trees. Temperate rainforests or coastal coniferous forests. These are found in scattered coastal temperate area with ample rainfall and moisture from dense ocean fogs, cold, or northern coniferous forest. These are found in the south of Arctic tundra. Winters are long while summers are short. Decomposition in this area is low because of low temperatures. Mountains play important ecological roles. Mountains are steep or high elevation lands where dramatic changes in altitude, slope, climate, soil, and vegetation take place over a short distance. They contain the majority of the world's forests, which are habitats for much of the planet's terrestrial biodiversity. Important ecological roles include contain the majority of the world's trees, provide habitats for endemic species, have sanctuaries for species that can migrate and surviving in higher altitudes if they are driven from lowlands by human activities or a warming climate. Mountains play a critical role in the hydrologic cycle by serving as a major storehouses of water. Unfortunately, as atmosphere has warmed over how many years, glaciers and some mountain-top snowpack have been melting, leading to lower food production in some areas. Humans have disturbed much of the Earth's land. According to research, about 62% of the world's major terrestrial ecosystems are being integrated or used unsustainably. So these are the human activities that affect terrestrial ecosystem. So guys, if we continue these negative human activities, it would result to massive loss of biodiversity. So, as human beings, we can help save our planet by being responsible with our actions and helping hand in hand in planting more trees, doing the 3 Rs, and other activities that will help save our planet. Little by little, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Good day everyone. My name is Donna Togle, the second presenter of the chapter 7, which is the climate and the biodiversity. Majority of the Earth's surface is covered with ocean water consisting 71% of the Earth's surface. The global ocean is a single and continuous body of salt water. The geographers divided the global ocean into 5 large areas, namely the Arctic, Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Southern Oceans. The aquatic equivalent of biomes are called aquatic life zones. Aquatic life zones are classified into 2 major types. The saltwater or the marine life zones, like the ocean, bays, coastal wetlands, shorelines, coral reef, and mangrove forest. And the freshwater life zones like lakes, rivers, streams, and inland wetlands. Ocean provide vital ecosystem and economic services. Ocean keep us and other species alive and that support our economies. Marine life is found in 3 major life zones, namely the coastal zone, the open sea, and the ocean bottom. The coastal zone is warm, nutrient-rich, shallow water that extends from the high tide mark on land to the gently sloping, shallow edge of the continental shelf. Next is the estuary. It's where a river meets the sea. Estuaries are associated with coastal wetlands. Next is the coastal aquatic systems help maintain water equality in tropical coastal zones by filtering toxic pollutants, excess plant nutrients and sediments, and by absorbing other pollutants and many more. The ocean acidification is the newest growing threat that means the rising level of acidity in ocean waters. The coral reefs are being destroyed and damaged by human activities. Next, we have the open sea. Rivers to the sharp increase in water deep at the edge of the continental shelf separates the coastal zone from the vast volume of the ocean. So the temperatures also change with deep and are used to define zones of varying species diversity in these layers. So the euphotic zone is the brightly lit upper zone containing predators, fishes such as sharks, swordfish, and bluefin tuna. The bathyal zone is the dimly lit middle zone that receives little sunlight. Smaller fishes are found in the zone. Next is the abyssal zone. Is the deepest zone that is dark and very cold. So most organisms in deep waters and on the ocean floor get their food from showers of dead or decaying organisms. So human activities are disrupting and degrading marine ecosystem. So the impacts can be seen through the photo.
Hello, my name is Angelo Baligasa and I am the third reporter. Precipitation that does not sink into the ground or evaporate becomes surface water that flows or is stored in bodies of water on the Earth's surface. Freshwater aquatic life zones include standing bodies of fresh water such as lakes, ponds, and inland wetlands, and flowing systems such as streams and rivers. Surface water that flows into such bodies of water is called runoff. Watershed or drainage basin is the land area that delivers runoff, sediment, and dissolved substances to a stream, lake, or wetland. Lake are large natural bodies of standing freshwater formed when precipitation, runoff, streams, rivers, and groundwater seepage fills depressions in the Earth's surface. Oligotrophic lakes. Lake that have a small supply of plant nutrients. Eutrophic lake. A lake with a large supply of nutrients. Cultural eutrophication. A process often puts excessive the two extremes of nutrient enrichment. Delta. An area at the mouth of a river built up by deposited sediment and often containing estuaries and coastal wetlands. Inland wetlands are lands located away from coastal areas that are covered with fresh water all or part of the time, excluding lakes, reservoirs, and streams. Human activities are disrupting and degrading freshwater systems. First, impact of dams and canals on rivers. Second, impact of flood control levees and dikes along rivers. Third, impact of pollutants from cities and farms on streams, rivers, and lakes. Fourth, and impact of drained wetlands. As we end our report, I will leave you with an assignment. So, think of an idea to change our world and put it into action. That's all. Thank you.